Welcome to Season 1, Episode 6 of the ScareGuys Show. This week we talk all about Halloween Horror Nights, where we just visited this past Friday. It was a whole lot of fun. And we're going to talk about one of our most favorite Halloween films, Trick or Treat, which we just watched live. Kari just watched it live with Anthony this past week. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And in one word, how do we feel about it? Awesome. Talk to you soon.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Welcome to the Scare Guy. We are so excited because we are about to enter into October, which is my favorite month of the year. Halloween is almost here. I'm going to actually throw a knife. Kids, don't ever do this at home.
Oh!
All right.
Oh, what'd you cut into me?
My name
Leave
is Jim. I am the managing editor here at The Scare Guy. You can find us at thescareguy.com or subscribe here to the podcast. So you can also find me online at at Con Guy Jim. So many things. All right.
Okay, cool. Hey, my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's Karidlane. I'm a host here at Popcorn Talk and AfterBuzz, and a lot of other fun filmmaking stuff, which we'll probably get into on this episode.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Katie. My Twitter and all that stuff is at KT_Christine, but I also have a cosplay account, which is Katie's_fairytale. So first time here, but I've been on the con guide.
Yes.
I'm Jake, tour guide at Warner Brothers Studios Tour Hollywood, movie buff extraordinaire, and all-around horror fan. Find me at JT Hummus on Twitter.
I added you.
Yes. All right, we became friends.
And who do we have on the couch? That is Cheeseman on the couch.
Oh, just kidding. I'm alive. He didn't really stab me with a real knife. Look.
Kids, that's
It's
a special
foam,
effect.
And it's con-friendly. Did you know that?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's just a little pointy, but it's foam. But anyways, you can find me on Twitter at ConGuyLuke and on the ScareGuy.com, Twitter, Instagram, and especially the website.
Do you know, speaking of the song we just had playing, Michael Jackson's Thriller, we had somebody last week who...
Yes!
Did you see that? The comment.
Let them know.
I've never heard of your show, and I was getting ready to watch, but since you're playing Michael Jackson's Thriller, I turned it off.
Thanks for watching
they're
again.
a Prince fan is what they're saying.
Oh, maybe.
Is it one or the other? Is that what it is?
I don't know. It made no sense. I was like, okay.
Okay, yeah, let's...
Good riddance? If that
do they
turned
like
you off?
13 going on 30? Do they like that film?
Hey, that's a good movie.
Yeah, but it has
It's
Thriller.
There's so many things to be protesting these days. That's just not it. That is just
Yes.
not it.
All the things.
I've never heard of anybody who doesn't like that song.
Right?
No. Makes sense.
Maybe they
But
love
hey,
it, but
come
we
back. Yeah.
are ruining it with all of our cheesy jokes, especially.
cheesy. What are you talking about?
Meh.
Jokes. Did you guys hear that we have rescheduled the end of the world? Actually, this is kind of cool. It was on CBS News.
Oh no, they actually covered it on the...
It was a news item. After September 23rd came and went without a rogue planet crashing into the Earth,
Oh yeah, this was Planet X, right?
the famous numerologist David Meade had to reschedule the apocalypse because he was wrong.
That was nice of him.
He had, he researches like biblical texts and ancient Egyptian texts and all over the world, and he has come to the conclusion that a planet called, what was it?
It's Planet X.
Yeah, Planet X. Well, they give it a name. Nibiru.
I know. I had a dude, an older man, like literally out of nowhere, like in a public space, be like, I have people randomly talk to me sometimes. It was just like, have you heard about Planet X? Look it up on YouTube. Every time I go, they'll take stuff down, and it's real information on there. But like, all seriousness, and I was like, okay, dude, whatever. And then I'm like, oh wow.
It actually happened.
Oh.
We barely escaped. We barely escaped. He was wrong. He was wrong. What was funny is
He was inaccurate.
I love the
It's
title.
alternative facts.
I love
That's right.
CBS's title. It has been rescheduled. The
Yeah.
end of the world has been rescheduled.
Oh.
That's just so great. NASA even had to weigh in and say, no, the guy is wrong because he was causing such a stir. But now since he was wrong, this is what he says now. The world is not ending, but the world as we know it is ending. Oh, that's a way to get out of it.
Oh, that's the biggest eye roll moment.
I thought the 23rd was supposed to just mark the beginning to the end. By the way, this is God speaking.
God's back. God has decided
Thank
not
you
to...
for rescheduling
God,
the
thank
Yeah,
apocalypse.
thanks.
Can we
Yeah, I
bump
got
it
a
back
little
another
lazy.
week, please?
Yeah.
It was a lazy day for me on Saturday. That's
Right.
He was resting.
And hold
It
the
was a
fire,
Sabbath.
please.
Yeah. But anyways, I just thought that just made my day when I saw that the end of the world was rescheduled. That was so great. That was so great. Hey, let's go around the table and see what everybody's been up to, especially these two ladies right here. You guys have been making films. Katie, can we start with yours? I just saw some posts you were doing recently about some film you guys were doing.
Yeah, me and some of my coworkers were making a short film that was supposed to be for a festival that got rescheduled, canceled, don't really know.
End of the world.
Yeah, maybe. And so we just decided to go ahead with filming it. Couple nights, probably about 10 hours or so filming at 5 different locations.
Ooh.
And there's only like a tiny bit of dialogue. There's not very much.
Can you tell us anything? It looks super creepy,
It's
though.
already up
Oh,
on
yeah.
YouTube. It was shot on an iPhone 7.
Nice.
So, but it was fun. I got to be a ghost and I got to kill people.
Tell you what, we will
Right.
post that onto the Scare Guy, but tell us how people can find it right now.
What's the title?
Homecoming? Homecoming,
Keller.
I believe.
She just acted. She's
Basically-
not the producer or the director.
Yeah, it's Homecoming. It's basically a couple moves into a house
Mm-hmm.
and has a housewarming party. Oh, it's housewarming, I think. I don't even know the title. I'm bad.
You're not
But
a very good
anyway, I know.
publicist.
Anyway, so and then they don't
Excellent
know
ghost,
they don't
though.
know
She's
that
an
there's
excellent
some
ghost.
history in the house basically. So yeah, it's like 3 minutes long.
And for
It's
those of
not
you
long.
who don't know, Katie has not been on the Scare Guy before, but she has been a frequent host on our other show, The Con Guy. The Scare Guy is the scarier side of The Con Guy, so she is a big fan of especially cosplay and conventions, and we see her just about at every convention we go to. So it's always glad to have, or we are always glad to have you here. And she now has moved closer to the studios, so
Yes.
we can have her on more often. That's
Yes.
fantastic.
Wait, does she get the question about horror
Oh,
starting?
oh, yeah, that's right.
New to this one.
Thank you for reminding me. Whenever it's your first time on the show, we spring this on you. Your fascination with horror and horror films and everything scary, when did it start for you?
I never really was into scary movies because I'm a little chicken, so I didn't like them growing up. But in the last 3 years, we'll say probably more like 2 years, I've gotten more into it because of all my coworkers and all that stuff. And I'm trying to make myself like it more, and I'm starting to understand why people like it. And it's definitely its own genre and category. It's totally different than anything else. And just the way that just the genre is almost a cult following, not even just individual films. And being a costumer and liking to do cosplay stuff, it's fun to see.
Yeah,
all
I
that
should
stuff
say, although we don't talk about our day jobs and where we work, but you actually are you're a costumer here in Hollywood, which is kind of a good avenue to be in.
Yeah.
If you're going to be into cosplay. And so, also you said some of your favorite parts of horror are zombies.
Yeah, I really like zombies and vampires.
Yeah?
They're my favorite. Vampires is number 1, and then zombies is kind of just become a huge thing, because of Walking Dead and all the comics and other shows, even iZombie, which is fantastic. I love that
So
show.
have you watched Van Helsing? Because they're essentially zombie vampires.
I haven't watched that.
Just
I
so
know.
you know.
Yeah, I know.
That's the
No
that's the
offense to
streaming
Van
version,
Helsing.
not the Hugh Jackman version, right?
The television
Yeah,
show,
yeah,
yeah,
that's it. To
which is on
clarify.
Netflix, and we did an after show here, and it's a fun show. But how they do most of their vampires is kind of like zombies.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
Just
What about
saying.
Supernatural? That has some scary moments, right? And you've been big fan
Yeah,
of that show.
Supernatural
Yeah,
would
good
be
one.
You're a huge Supernatural
Yeah,
fan.
Supernatural was the highest I would go with scary. That and Doctor Who were the highest I would go for the longest time, because they're not too bad because they're on network TV, but yeah, horror films I would be yeah, I'll see that where I can sit at home on my couch.
But you will be attending this year, and since this is the topic of the show now, you're going to be attending Halloween Horror Nights over at Universal Studios. You probably will be heading down to, is it Not Scary? And
I already did Horror Nights.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Fantastic.
Hopefully I can get down to Not Scary Farm. I don't know if I'll be able to with my time and everything. But my favorite is Queen Mary, so I'm hoping to make it to
nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't been to the Queen Mary, but I'm planning on going this year. They got some great ticket deals on one of those ticket deal things that you get online.
What do you like about Queen
Boy,
Mary?
I sure helped you there.
Costco?
Well,
Probably at Costco, something like that.
Queen Mary Dark Harbor was the first Halloween event I went to here in Southern
nice.
California. And so
And for people who don't know, the Queen Mary is the ship that's docked down in Long Beach, and they turn it into a big haunted ship with
And
the whole.
supposedly it is haunted.
yeah. I like it cuz it's not bound by some of the rules that the theme park haunts are
That
have
can
to
beat you up and
follow.
throw you over the side of the
So
boat.
they're a little bit more free to roam around and do more with it that they can't really do at Knott's Berry Farm or
Do
Universal.
you sign a waiver?
No.
Okay,
It's
good.
not that intense.
No, no.
But, and
They
I-
have a ship that's haunted already. I went many years ago, and I don't know if this was something you felt. Like, the ship itself is the perfect environment, and you're, like, just waiting in line in there. I'm like,
It
this
feels
is
like
creepy.
a floating overlook hotel, kind of.
Yeah.
It's just so cool and
fantastic.
creepy.
It's creepy. I prefer the mazes on the Queen Mary because
Oh, they're so good.
they are creepy just being there, but
Exactly.
also it's dark and
Yep.
just
Kind of like Kari's saying, it's like it's the perfect place to have it. Kind of like having a haunted house in the bowels of a castle or something
Yeah.
like that.
The
Yeah.
basement of a Bowery.
It's like your environment is what the scare is.
yeah. And I think another reason why I've learned to like that event too is it doesn't really ever seem like there's too many kids there. It seems like it's a more an adult event, which I kind of like a little
We
bit.
are. We're not a kid hating show, but like.
You know, there are kids that like go to the scare, and this
But
some
I
kids
agree
are
with you
for
100%.
it and they love it. But then there are kids that I've seen parents taking children, and they're like bawling their eyes
Yeah.
out, and you're like, how are you this mean to your kids? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
no.
Like even when we saw like It a couple of weeks back, you know, it's not the worst show in the world, but like some little kids are sitting in there screaming their heads off every time something scary happens.
It is rated R, so
Yeah, I don't know if those are good parents or bad parents. I'm kind of on the fence because my parents put me in front of the scariest movies ever when I was a
But were
little
you
bitty kid.
screaming and crying?
Yes, I was. And basically
You're like disproving your
my
point.
mom and dad were like, just put something over your head, you'll be fine. So I turned out not so fine. So anyways, tonight we are talking a whole lot about Halloween Horror Nights since we did experience it, and we are also going to be talking about Trick or Treat. But before we get to that, there's a couple things I would like to cover, and we're going to first, Kari, we have a couple of films up on the Scare Guy right now that are super cool, and they are called can you tell us about your films? I'm blanking.
No, it's okay.
One's
Actually,
Cannibal Katie.
Yeah, and I actually just remembered one that I didn't make it, but I acted in it, and I actually had someone be like, "Were you in this movie?" I'm like, "Yes, I have such a small part that if you find me, good job." It's called The Dark Tapes. I think you reminded me talking about one of the something you watch. It's a horror anthology about these people, and they're trying to videotape / document ghosts, and then it's kind of in the vein of VHS, and like there's like the main story and that just jumps to these other horror bits. And so yep, there we go, we got a visual, sprung it on y'all.
Visual.
It's pretty fun. I actually liked it. It's one of those
That's
like
great cover art. Really like that.
I was only there for like one day of filming, and in the end it's such a small little part that you get that you're like, all right, it's cool. But I think it's a found footage style too.
Nice.
But there's one of them in it that I don't want to spoil it, but one of the stories went in a completely different direction than you kind of expect, and I found that so rewarding because I was like, oh, nice. I didn't think it was going to go that way, and it did, so I was like, all right. I like the one I was in too, because I didn't get to read it all, and so seeing it was the surprise. But that one's totally available online, and probably those platforms. I don't know all the details. I'm bad at promoting my own film that I'm in. But again, I only have a teeny part, so yay, it's available for
I have
y'all.
not heard of this. I'm excited
Yeah?
about seeing
Nice.
it. I like the cover art sells me on it right there.
Yeah,
You should
there's
just
some
make a
actually-
website called available.com and everything's there. It's
Yes.
like, it's
But then you actually
Yes,
have a couple of
so,
films that we
I did.
currently have online. Cannibal Katie. Can you tell us
Yes.
about Cannibal Katie?
So I made this for the Collaboration Filmmakers Challenge. So we had 2 weeks to make a movie, and we made it in one day. And we wrote it in pretty much a day, casted a day, and then filmed it. And oh yeah, there's a little picture. It came out really fun. I was like, nope, over. Yep, that one. I think it's very fun, kind of dark comedy, which is what I really dark horror comedy, which is what I like. And yeah, I don't want to tell you too much because it spoils it. But it's online. You can go watch it. Just YouTube Cannibal Katie, and probably include my name, and you'll definitely find it right
Well,
away.
I mean, I guess it's not. I won't give anything away, but it's not giving away too much to think there might be some cannibalism involved.
Maybe.
Because the way we described it on the site is it's a film that asks the question, what's worse, a cannibal or a vegan?
Nice.
And,
Well, we had an
Who
original
talks
title.
about it more? Who's more vocal about their diet? That's the question.
Yeah, you need to watch it. No, we had a different title at first because when we were doing the festival, I was like, well, that totally gives something kind of away, and so it was how to get your protein.
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's kind of the double entendre of like vegans of like how do you get your protein, and there were like questions in it that I had a friend who's vegan. I'm like, can you like, are these real questions you get? And she's like, absolutely. And so I'm like, awesome, cool. So we went on that way. But yeah, it's really fun. I like that one a lot. Everybody in it and everybody involved is better than I expected. Like there's some moments I'm like, oh, you're watching the footage and you're just like, oh, this went a different direction. I like it so much. So I directed that one and produced it. And then the other one, I made this one, I was like, how many years ago? A few something years ago. Only the Smart Survive. And it's a horror comedy on how to survive a horror movie. Kind of done in the old, like, goofy cartoons of, like, so you think you can survive a horror movie? Well, let's look at how we do that.
I loved this one. This one was fantastic.
And then that one was made for the, which I don't know if that festival is still going. It's called the No Budget Film Festival. So the rule was you couldn't spend any money on it. And so, wait, I was like, you're almost over picture. Lower. Anybody listening, we have somebody on the computer screen. Over, lower. It's the people sitting around in a circle. Oh. Nope.
We're being so tough on Mr. Producer.
Yep. Down,
Right.
middle. Nope, you missed it.
It's like he's trying to scratch
Yes,
our back.
that one.
Like down a bit to the right.
That's
it.
So these are some of my
thank you.
actors, and they did a great job. They're super funny. And yeah, we just kind of had a lot of fun. We went to a cabin up at Lake Isabella for the weekend and filmed in a cabin and spent the night there. So that was so awesome to be like with your friends and filming a horror movie.
Is there any way, without giving away any plot points, you can give us an idea of like this is how to survive?
Yes, how to survive a horror movie and
serial killer. Was it a horror movie or serial
well, how to
killer?
survive a horror.
Only the smart survive.
Well, it's only the smart survive.
Sorry,
so the
sorry.
idea is like, you hear a noise outside. Do you go investigate? No. You should come prepared. You should wear appropriate clothing. You should stick together, like those kind of things. And it's just, it kind of makes fun of horror tropes. And they're both super short films, so they're like 6 minutes or less, guys. So
I encourage
won't
you
take that much time.
to pause this right now and go watch. Well, as soon as we're done,
Come right back.
Yeah,
Come right back.
They're
Come right back.
They're
So
a
yeah,
lot of fun.
that one I think, again, type only the Smart Survive, and I know both of those, if you add Kari Lane to it, you'll probably find that. And then that one I also directed and produced. My friend, who, the girl in it, the redhead with the braid, she wrote it.
Oh, fantastic! I
Yeah.
did not know that.
So,
or if you go to thescareguy.com right now,
You
both
know,
of them are right there on the front
there.
page. So,
Right
Yes.
so take a look at those.
there.
You will really enjoy those.
They're super fun.
We have a little tiny bit of news, and then we're going to jump into Halloween Horror Nights. The biggest horror news, for me especially, because this is my favorite horror film of all time, is that Jamie Lee Curtis. What is she doing? Did you guys
She's
hear?
coming back to
back.
Halloween.
She's coming back. Next year is the 40th anniversary of the original John Carpenter's Halloween, and so he has returned.
Nice.
He is an executive producer, and he is also doing the score. Hopefully he's helping them to work on the story as well, because it's been suffering of late. But Jamie Lee Curtis is back. She released it on her own Instagram page, and she's in
Oh,
the
the
actual...
photo is so
Isn't it great?
good. It's so good.
The actual clothes.
It's interesting
Sorry, I just
who's making it though, because it's like Pineapple Express guys. and
Oh, David
people-
Gordon
yeah,
Green.
it's-
I just saw his recent movie Stronger, which is very good, but not a horror movie. The
Yeah.
exact opposite of
And
a horror movie.
McBride.
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride
yeah.
is a co-writer. Also not a horror writer.
I was gonna say, is it Danny the actor? Okay, I saw that and I was like, wait, is that the same person? Okay.
Tie-in / remembering another thing. I went to the Halloween house when I worked on another horror movie, and we
yeah?
filmed in front of it. So it's a horror movie called Followed. It's not out yet. That one's post-production. I did assistant directing on that one, and that's feature length. And it's a like YouTube celebrity guy who investigates horror hauntings and stuff, who doesn't believe in it, but then goes to this hotel, which is based on the Cecil Hotel downtown.
Oh, yeah.
And we filmed in downtown, not at that hotel, but we went to 2 different hotels. So movie magic, secret behind the scenes, and that were supposedly haunted. Though I didn't see anything. I'm kind of disappointed, but we filmed part of our bit in front of the Halloween house, which was super fun.
That's pretty cool. And for those of you who are not aware, the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles does have a notorious history. It was the home of a couple of serial killers who
Yep.
lived there. Was it the Night Stalker, Ramirez?
Yep.
and some other people jumped out and killed themselves.
Elizabeth Lamb.
Is she
That's the other one too. No, she's the one who was the mysterious desk who was found in the water tower.
Okay, yeah, and the most
That
recent
happened
one.
there all
Yeah, the
this
most
happened
recent
there?
one was in. If you did, there was
It's now like Stay on Main, like they've changed the name and stuff, but it's still
Stay
there.
on Main.
That doesn't
That
that
still
doesn't
sounds
change
like a horror
anything.
movie.
though.
but
Oh yeah, no, it's still the same hotel.
But what Kari's talking about is recently, like a few years back, there was a.
You can watch the elevator footage.
There's elevator footage of this lady running into the elevator.
I've
She's
seen
running.
that.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? She's running from somebody, and then she
And
looks
her
back,
behavior is
and
so
she's freaking
bizarre.
out. And she's looking around the corner. She comes back, and she.
And the
then-
elevator door never shuts.
Yep. And then
Ever in it.
a few days later, or maybe a week later, the guests started complaining about the taste of the water. And so, guess where they found
Yeah.
her? Face down in the water tank,
Naked.
naked on the roof.
Yep.
This just took a turn.
Yes. And the thing too with it is we kind of have a character that maybe it's so bizarre because the thing is they said like there's no way that she could have opened and shut that door herself to get in there, so it's like there's no way she could have done it all by herself. But there were no drugs in her system. It's so bizarre.
So stay on Main.
So stay on.
Yeah.
All right.
We should
I used to live
Do an
one block
overnight
from that
episode.
place. And here, and a little bit more trivia.
Suspect.
Ryan Murphy's American Horror Story Hotel was based on this hotel.
Cecil Hotel.
I don't think they did the best job though. It
wait,
wasn't terrible. American Horror Story Hotel.
No, that one's they're basing that on H.H. Holmes.
What's that mean?
Because he built. You guys don't know about H.H. Holmes? Devil in the White City. You guys need to read that book,
Oh,
and they're
yes.
making a movie on that. He was the first like American serial killer, and built a hotel that had secret rooms that could
Oh,
lock
yeah.
people up and burn them. I thought that's what they
No,
did
that
it
was.
on.
He was in there. He was in that series.
He was the character.
But they
Yeah.
originally got the idea for having a haunted hotel from
Oh,
this.
sorry. I was like, but that's
No,
the guy. That's his
you are
hotel.
correct. You are
Okay.
correct. And then they built the mythology around him. He's the
It's
reason.
a really good book, by the way.
Oh.
It's actually a nonfiction book.
So
too.
the other little bitty piece of news is that the movie which everybody's seen, is taking the country by storm. It has recently become the highest rated horror film of all time. It just passed up not Poltergeist. I love that film too.
The Exorcist.
The Exorcist, another one. It is at
And
200.
people are wanting Amy Adams to be the adult version.
Did
of the
you
girl.
see that? Everybody's having their wish
Adult
list.
Bev, yeah.
2019, when the sequel comes out, they think Amy Adams should be in there.
I
We're
haven't seen
tweeting
it yet.
about it.
Oh, you haven't
haven't
seen
seen it?
Here, let me tell you how it ends.
I mean, I've seen the original, so
I'm sorry.
you know, but I know the premise and about it. I just haven't had time to see it yet.
So you know not to approach open sewer grates.
He
Yes.
kills
Okay,
kids.
good.
All right. Real quick, let me speed through this. We do have some upcoming conventions. Some of these are new this week. We've been kind of giving you some of the same old. But ScareFest Horror and Paranormal Convention is in Lexington, Kentucky, September 29th through October 1st. Monster Mania Con, September 29th through October 1 in Hunt Valley, Maryland. Here's a new one, the Living Dead Weekend, October 20 through 22 in Evans City, Pennsylvania. And then there's also the Long Beach Zombie Fest, which is a horror fest, October 20 through 22, Long Beach, California. Spooky Empire is still in Orlando. Largest convention in the horror convention in the U.S., they say, October 27 through 29. HallowCon in Chattanooga, Tennessee, October 27 through 29. And then, of course, Famous Monsters of Filmland is having a big horror convention in San Jose, October 27 through 29. That thing is building up fast. I don't know if you've seen like the people that are showing up with that, but that's going to be huge. They're going to have all kinds of special screenings, and I wish I could go to that, but that's also the same weekend as Stan Lee's LA Comic Con, which I do not want to miss.
Decisions.
I need to
Oh, what?
figure out if I'm going to that. I have no idea if I'm going to that yet.
Yes, you're going to that. Why would you not?
Because it's Halloween weekend.
Oh, it's a busy weekend.
Yeah.
No offense to it, but I'm like,
Okay, we're about to jump into Halloween Horror Nights, but before we do, Jake,
Yes.
you can finally talk about
can finally
something.
talk
I'm
about
so
it.
excited
Yes.
About it.
Tell us about something cool happening in Hollywood, California.
The last couple times I've been on the show, I could only hint at stuff, but now the details have been released. It's official. It's the Warner Brothers Studio Tour Horror Made Here Festival of Frights that's happening for 6 nights in October, 19th, 21st, 20th, and then 26th, 27th, and 28th. So tickets are available there. They're $69. It's a big backlot bash, music, food trucks, Halloween-themed activities, some dark mazes, and also tours after dark to some areas that are less than.
See, I didn't know it was so expansive like that. I thought it was just, we're just going to tour some of the cool spots.
It's expanding this
which
year.
is cool that already.
Yeah.
But then I was like, you having giant parties and all these mazes and all
Giant
this
parties.
stuff.
For those that had a chance at Hollywood and Vine, the It Experience, the Neibold House Hollywood, is moving to the Warner Brothers backlot.
Oh,
So
that's
if you,
awesome.
If you missed it on Hollywood Boulevard, you have a second chance here. It's going to be here, along with the It VR Experience. Is going
That
Oh,
was
the
at
bus.
Comic-Con?
Yeah.
The You'll Float
Oh,
2
yeah.
bus.
Yeah.
So that definitely makes that price far more appealing when you get
Absolutely.
all that. There's a lot. Okay.
And then there's like tours throughout. There's one that focuses on some of like the scary shows. Pretty Little Liars was a mainstay there for years, so you can see Radley Sanitarium. There's also Going Through the Jungle, where True Blood filmed for many years. The exterior Merlots, lots of stuff. Props and costumes from the Conjuring universe.
Annabelle's there, right?
Annabelle's there. I've seen 2 they've set up already. I've seen 2 Annabelles already. So yeah, and I've seen Pennywise's costume, and it's just as creepy in person as it was in
seriously?
that movie. Yeah, yeah, it was
Nice.
there.
The VR experience is great. I did both, but the VR still was my favorite.
Now, Warner Brothers has a long history. Warner Brothers New Line with horror films.
Definitely
what
New
are,
Line.
What are some of like the films that have been filmed there on the Warner Brothers lot? That you
On the
remember?
Warner lot specifically, New Line's offices are there. They're the house that Freddie built, of course. That's
Yep.
Nightmare on Elm Street. And the remake filmed on the Warner lot. But some of the recent ones were Annabelle Creation was filming there literally last year. Conjuring 2 is in stage 4. I give tours. I once happened upon Vera Farmiga while giving a tour while
Oh,
she was in
nice.
the middle of filming that movie. She was in a robe and curlers, so I don't know if she wanted to be discovered in that state, but she was very sweet to the group. Gremlins 1 and 2, House of Wax, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Monster Squad from the 80s.
Ooh,
yes,
yay.
Shane Black.
Nice.
Lost Boys, The Swarm, The Bad Seed.
Oh, wow.
Lots of great stuff is filmed there over the years.
Lost Boys,
Lost
yes.
Boys,
Yay.
yeah.
We have to throw out that we will be helping Bernie to promote Lost Boys. A special screenings coming up at the Vista Theater in Hollywood in November. So
Ooh, very
please,
cool.
PP.
And he's
pay
also
attention
got
to
the Friday 13th one.
Oh yeah, October 13th, Friday the 13th is screening at the Vista Theater. So we'll be putting links to those tickets. We can get tickets for those up on our site. Anything else we need to know?
Just if you want more information, you want tickets, WBStudioTour.com. All the information's there.
WBStudioTour.com.
Check it out.
And if, for those who have not been to the Warner Brothers Studio backlot, it's pretty amazing. Like some of the backlots here in town, they kind of sold them off and made them into malls and parking lots and stuff. But the Warner Brothers backlot is beautiful. It's absolutely
gorgeous.
beautiful.
It's my favorite
huge.
backlot, yeah.
Mine too.
That one in Universal. Universal has
Universal's is ginormous, and this is, equally as like intricate, and there's so much stuff there. Yeah, it's great.
fantastic. I'm looking forward. I think I might be going to do that. That's gonna be.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I didn't even know about this at
Me
all.
neither. That sounds
like,
awesome.
It's
do
the
they
second
normally
year.
do a
It's the second year of Halloween tour specifically.
I've
Last
never-
year was the first. We had film screenings of the Conjuring movies within Twilight tour, and this year is turning into like a whole
Wow,
immersive
okay.
experience with like no really time.
I remember last year they showed you some of the spots from Exorcist or something like.
We had props from Exorcist.
yeah,
We had
something like
Regan's door. It was still broken from The Exorcist. And vampire costumes, gremlins. It was great.
Hey,
Nice.
Brad. No, we're not showing them.
No, Brad, sorry.
Annabelle. All right, we'll leave that to ourselves. All right. So let's jump into the main topic of the night, which
Yes.
is Halloween Horror Nights over at Universal Studios. We went on Friday night. We have some pictures. We'll be. Hopefully, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see some of the pictures. Oh, wait. We have a trailer. This is Eli Roth made this, and this is a very cool commercial that Eli Roth made for Halloween Horror Nights. I thought it was... Have you guys seen this?
Play it.
Maybe.
Okay, we can go ahead and play this when we get a chance, and it's... Oh, we're going into rated R territory. Warning. So,
The star of
Is
the...
there sound? Ah.
Yep. For those of you who are not watching, we are kind of going through a creepy house. A lot of creepy
Oh,
stuff.
Ariel.
Yeah.
Well, they look like they're having a good time.
Yeah.
I love...
They picked the ethnically diverse people.
Yes,
That's
they
right.
did.
I have
Got
no
it.
idea where they're from.
They're eating that person.
Fun costumes.
It's got great
Just taking
music.
shots of her.
Yeah.
This feels like the beginning of Spectre.
Spectre, what Spectre?
the Bond movie.
Oh, and here we go. This typewriter from the Overlook Hotel, Jack Nicholson.
Oh, that's cool.
And then, who is she? Oh, and there's the two little girls,
Nice.
The Shining.
and their dad.
Dead.
Oh, and of course.
Wait, they're gonna keep going?
I know. They're back up. The girls are back up.
They're like, sure.
The murder, red rum. Bam!
Ah.
Then comes the axe.
And then there's a random dungeon in the house.
Mm-hmm.
There's the
Ooh,
Saw
hostile.
portion.
Or no, Saw.
Saw, yeah.
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 What's that guy's
Jigsaw.
name?
Jigsaw.
Yep.
Oh, look at this Oh, that's American Horror Story. The people wearing the pig head.
That's literally my least favorite thing that
I
American
hate
Horror Story
that.
has ever done. I hate it.
Roanoke. It's the pig man from Roanoke. And she wakes up from
It
this
was
dream.
all a dream.
Well, or was it?
I was just gonna say that.
I'm like, nope,
So she's...
because she's alone. She had a boyfriend.
Yes! The best nightmares never end.
Nice.
So I thought that was a pretty
That's great.
awesome.
That's a good
promotion.
ad.
That's a great ad. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
Also, there's another like a 5-minute trailer about Eli Roth talking about the making of that, like the making of the commercial.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna show that right now. Just
No.
we don't
Just
have time
kidding.
for
We
that.
don't have time for that.
We don't
It's
have
like
time.
go
All right.
watch it online.
So let's go ahead and talk about
Horror Nights.
Horror Nights, Universal Studios. We went last weekend, which here in Hollywood was the second weekend of the event. Cheeseman, give me your overall impression after you drink from your
Creature.
Creature from the Black Lagoon mug.
Future Tiki.
Well, I had fun. The night went quickly. I didn't expect it to be as crowded as it was during
Right.
this time of the
And
year.
we'll
What
talk
day of the
about
week?
that. Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a Friday
Katie's
though,
like,
so
"What day of the week?"
usually
All
we
right,
go on
enough.
like a Thursday or a Sunday,
day
so
was
that's
that?
part of it. Then we got a little confused.
Makes a difference.
We thought Titans of Terror and the tram ride were like the same line.
I didn't
so
know
we
it was
ended
two
up-
different
We got to
Yeah,
do
it's two
both
different.
though, which was good.
And also, what time did you arrive?
We got in around like 7:30.
Well, it opened at
So-
7. Oh,
No, there's
No.
a special pre-entry
Yeah, you
at
can
like
go
5.
in
At 5. The first
So
is
do
5:30.
that, people.
5:30. Yep.
We
Pros.
are being
You get an extra like 2 hours. I'm like, no wonder you didn't have enough time.
Class is in
But
session,
hey,
children.
We did 6 things though. So
But
that was
I do
still-
have to tell Kari something. You'll be
Okay.
proud of us. We did not pay to park.
Good job. Yay.
Because we bought tickets ahead of time
Well,
and
we
got
paid
free
ahead of time.
parking.
Oh.
And he was supposed to get a souvenir cup, but he didn't get his souvenir cup on time.
I know.
Wah, wah, wah.
You've been, right?
Yeah, but I didn't know about like the free parking or
Well,
souvenir cup thing.
For the
If you
first
buy
two,
in
first
August,
2 weekends. For the
like-
first 2 weekends, they were trying to get everybody to go then.
See, their announcements, I found out like after the fact that I'm like, I wish I had known that, and I would have bought my tickets cheaper, but.
Well, it was cheaper, but everybody and their mom.
Oh yeah, they
was
sold
there.
out.
Yeah, they sold out.
Yeah.
But I would have wanted a chance to try.
What were the best parts?
Yes.
What
Best
do you
parts.
think? Best
I
parts.
always liked the tram,
The
and this
hits.
was cool because Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface, and there were some big and small Chuckies running around.
Nice.
The Terror Tram was
So-
the best part, I
Yeah,
think.
and
Well,
then
no,
there-
I have a second best
Then you
part.
got to see
Second
the
best part.
Norman Bates in front of the Bates house again. The line
Yeah.
was actually shorter than it normally
Oh,
is, so I was
good.
able to get a nice group picture, and we only had to wait
Yay.
like
Hey, Anthony, do we
5 minutes.
have any
we
pictures?
have a
I think we
Bates
sent some
Motel
pictures in.
photo?
So yeah. So he's gonna. There we go. So we got some pictures on right now.
What's this one of?
That is just random.
That's the scare zone, right?
I think it's one of the scare zones. Happy Halloween that you're going through. I don't really know.
Here's a photo of ours. I don't remember.
I
it, though.
took that picture. I just thought it looked really cool. It was really cool scenery,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
that
that's a scare zone.
that's an amazing. That's one of the
Nice.
scare zone with the wolf coming over. Is that from American Werewolf?
The first scare zone is basically supposed to just be authentic Halloween type characters.
classic horror.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Cool.
They didn't have any IP for the scare zones this year.
They're all just individual.
original.
Yeah.
Kids,
Which
that
is?
stands for intellectual property.
Oh yeah. But
Cool.
Meaning the
I like
people you
them.
recognize.
So we'll let the pictures go, but I think we're gonna. Yeah, there's the.
Nice.
There we
That's
are.
a good
He
shot.
He was a great Norman.
Yeah, that was the Norm
It's a
Bates was
good
there
photo.
with our group. That was fantastic. That was part of the Terror Tram. You had to be on the Terror Tram. It took you out into the far reaches of the
Yep.
back lot, and you could go up and get your picture made.
Get
Which
a
was,
And
Walk
then does
around.
it stop and abandon you there and you have to make your way back
Yes.
or something? Do they
There
still do
was
that?
lines.
oh, and then this right here is what I do want to jump into here in a second. Like 90 minutes, 70 minutes, 70 minutes, 60, 50, 70, 50. I know everyone's gonna say, well, you get what you pay for. I could have spent. How much is the front of the line? Someone says like $200.
It's like 179 or it's up almost
Oh my
200.
Oh, just for
God.
horror
Oh.
nights.
No, that's just for the add-on extra front of the line.
That's
Oh,
the
that's
front of the line
add-on.
pass.
The add-on.
well, that
is 100%.
includes
Whoa.
you still. That's your ticket too.
Oh, that's a ticket and.
Yeah.
Does it
Yeah.
come with lunch
Oh.
and dinner?
No.
Right?
And a
No.
date. I mean, gosh.
Popcorn.
Because my friends do front of line every year
Friends.
because that's the only way it's worth it to them. So they've been doing it for a lot of years. They're done by 11 o'clock at night.
Do you know if they have the special after 11 for an online pass? Because when we go to Orlando
Oh.
for like $60,
I'm not sure.
we
I
can
haven't
add on
heard
to-
that.
if-
I've never heard of
it just starts till after 11. So that's an Orlando
cool,
thing,
though.
yeah.
They did bring back the VIP, or they called it RIP,
The
to
RIP,
this year.
yep.
So
That's great.
yeah.
They
Well,
also,
that's the only way I've ever been able to get. I didn't go this year, but the only way I've been able to do it in the past is going at the early entry at like 5:30, and
Yeah.
like you go all the way out to the back of the park, get those done, and make your way forward.
you were
That's
telling us
common
that, yeah.
theme park practice, though.
Yes.
For everyone out there watching, you always do that no matter where you go.
We
Yeah.
did not.
And then
Go to
that's
the back and then make your way to the gate.
because those are the longest lines too at
Exactly.
Universal. So get there as soon as you can at the 5. I think we went at 5, and then I think they let you in early at 5:30. But then they stop, and then they let the people in at like 7. So that's the
Yeah.
only kind of
And
only
don't
way.
get the Titans of Terror line mixed up, because we were just gonna we'll just do the tram real quick because I thought it'd be popular
Yeah.
because all the people that were on it.
Oh,
with Freddie
tram's great,
Jason
yeah.
and all that. And I was just gonna do that, then go right to the back, but then we accidentally did Titans of Terror before, which was the same characters for the most part.
Minus
too,
Chucky.
And I think that's all the pictures we have.
That's a
So some of my favorite things about it this year, the Titans of Terror tram and the Titans of Terror house. Loved those.
Cool.
Walking through the back lot of Universal, that's almost worth it to me all by itself.
It's so fun.
And they have probably like, 100, 200 people out there scaring you as you're going through the woods, and it's fantastic. I mean,
And my technique worked as it always does, because no one's jumping out at you as a guy, but then if you do this
oh, that was funny.
and walk through, then all of a sudden they're chasing you and coming
Lucky.
back around and trying to
They're
I do that, they
drawn to
ignore me.
fear.
They're like, nope.
Well, like,
just gotta-
Luke just put his hands over his face
Yeah, you
the
have
whole
to.
time.
Yeah, the girl fingers. Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
all.
The
if you wanna
girl
get-
fingers? It
Yeah.
works every time.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's not get sexist about this. Men can be
Lady fingers.
terrified too.
Didn't
The
say they
scary
couldn't be.
hands?
No, my
No.
favorite thing to do though is to watch like the big 6 foot guys like who are walking through the scare zone looking like no one's gonna scare me.
Right.
You can't scare me.
Then why even come?
And then you watch the chainsaw guys just be like, oh, just wait.
Yeah.
And they'll stalk those guys and then terrify them. And
Now,
it's the
if
funnest
you
thing
do
to watch.
not want to know any of the scares from Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights, stop listening right now because we're going to talk a little bit about it.
But then come back after you've gone.
Wait for
Just
30
give
seconds.
us a few minutes.
Yeah, but we only have a few minutes. Wow, this time goes
Went by
fast.
so fast.
So, like, one of my favorite things was, and I did not like it last year, but the American Horror Story house.
Yeah, me too.
I was surprised how much, yes, God has spoken. So, I was surprised how much I liked it this year because last year I hated it because we waited in line for a super long time and you got into it, it was like,
Yeah, and as you saw on there, it was like 90-minute wait.
yeah, 90-minute wait. It was super popular. So at the end of the night,
Let's try
We-
5 minutes.
basically we were the last boys. All of our crowd slowly was winnowing away and going and leaving. Like had to, I got to be at work in the morning. Love you, ladies.
wah.
Just kidding. But so it was
I know
kind
who
of.
that was.
Oh, but we love her. She had to make a cake. And
Oh well, please don't stop.
Oh, I know. But like American Horror Story, there's one part of the house where I'm walking through and there's like a 20-foot tall giant. It looks like a statue made out of hay. And then it starts walking and leaning down at me. I'm like,
Nice.
F that. That was done.
I should have been recording. It would have been the best scare Jim ever.
It would've-
He
yeah.
basically like backed himself into a
And then
corner.
another one. Ash
you scream?
verse. I was a little girl. Sorry to be sexist again, but I so was. Oh my gosh, that one killed me. And then Ash versus Evil Dead. That one was it was fun, but then towards the last half of it, they had those the demons with the giant mouths and like all dressed in like tights, and they would blend in with the walls and everywhere, and then they would just jump out from everywhere. That one was freaking me out too. So well done, Universal. You guys did great on those. What about you?
The only time I really jumped was during the American Horror Story one. There was this room where there was the 3 girl like dressed up, and then one all of a sudden was like, "Rah!" like right in my face. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I don't jump much, but that one did get me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did enjoy The Shining. That was cool.
I
Although I
enjoyed-
wish it would have kind of taken you on the journey of the craziness a little more.
Yeah, that's what you,
You
kept
know,
saying.
I-
Yeah.
I went in with such high expectations, but it still was good. And I was somewhat bothered a little bit by the masks I quite didn't buy yet. Because like usually they find people,
Oh,
being
yeah.
in Hollywood, you can find a lot of like lookalike type
Face
people.
actors.
So they usually find like people that look like the character, but this time they had like these rubber masks that kind of
like for Jack Nicholson and Shelley
Yeah.
Duvall.
and then also for Evil Dead too with
Ash.
Bruce
that's
Campbell.
interesting.
Ash and Jack. They had
Yeah.
all these Ash and Jack masks that everybody was wearing.
Because
Just
at
kind of
like
odd.
Comic-Con, they had like Army of Ash
Yep.
guys, and like
Yeah,
they
it's
weren't
like-
wearing masks.
Yeah, I would have preferred that, but
But I did enjoy the Shining maze. I will say it was not the scariest maze, but it was very fascinating. If you're fans of the movie,
yeah.
you know,
Kind of like the movie. It's like fascinating.
it was
but, yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
You would see all the things from the movie, the accoutrement from the film, and we were walking through the Overlook. I liked it.
That-
I liked it. What about you?
was the first maze I went on because we thought the line was gonna get really long.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on the way down to the lower lot. So they held the line and we were the first ones in, and I was like, okay, that's not gonna be good for me.
Mm-hmm.
So we were first ones in, so everybody had a chance to reset. And I don't even know who the character was. All I know is I rounded like the third corner and I almost fell to the ground because they scared me so bad. So they got probably one of the best scares from me that night. Like I said, I can't even tell you. They're like, what part was it? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just
Jack
know.
Nicholson breaking through the door.
And then I did think that the scene with the girls and the cascading blood was
They did that
awesome.
well, yeah.
That was probably one of my favorite visual things of the.
They visually
of the
recreated the
night.
scene.
Yeah.
You saw the girls, and then the elevator opens.
And it flashed away.
Yep.
Then they disappeared, and yeah, it was cool. And then I didn't get a chance to do Saw or Ash vs. Evil Dead, but my other one of my other favorite things is actually the Jabberwocky show this year.
Love that show.
I saw it last year. I hadn't seen it the first year, but it's a new story this year. I very much enjoyed it. It's
And Jabberwocky, for those who don't know, Jabberwockies is what?
It's the dance crew from, most people know them from America's Best Dance Crew, but they also have a show in Vegas now, kind of just skyrocketed, becoming one of the most popular crews. And yeah, so it's a fun show, and it's a good way to like rest your feet for 25 minutes. And yeah, I highly recommend it because it's a fun show and it's cool.
And what was one of the best things that they added to Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood this year that was a big change?
Oh, I know what he's talking about. They have beer in one place.
Beer was
you
back.
can get a beer in the Simpsons area.
Yeah.
There's a couple
Moe's.
places where you can get it, and you can get an IPA. You can get the Moe's beers there.
It was pretty cool. Like it was a
But
beer
you're limited
garden.
to 2, and then they stamp your wrist.
They stamp you to make sure you don't get any more.
We just
That's
got one
good.
though.
Well, if they're gonna, if they had a problem, because what we were told was before in years past they had a problem with gangs coming in and getting out of control, so they had to
Sober
run,
them up a bit during the night.
kind of like a Dodgers game. So they
No,
had
as someone who's been a scare
Cubs,
actor
go Cubs.
before, too many drunk people
Yep.
are just stupid and bad behavior. Like, I'm all for you going out and having a good time and having a couple drinks, but like, handle yourself and
I agree.
don't touch the people working there. If someone come to your job, no.
But it makes sense though. Like I like the way they did it. They kept it under control. It
That's
wasn't.
cool.
It wasn't it wasn't a frat party. It was.
Right.
It was kind of under control. And if you wanted to drink, you had to stay there. You weren't going into the lines and everything. So they kind of kept it under control. Mad props to
That's good.
Universal for kind of experimenting to see about that. The line was pretty long. Let's just put it that way. So things
too.
that
That one wasn't on the sign though.
And I'm going to-
110 minutes for most.
and we're going to kind of speed through the things we didn't like, because I don't want to put a lot of shade on Universal Studios, because I love their attractions. I love what they do. I love every year they're doing it. They kind of up their ante every year. But I'm going to complain a little bit about. I'm just going to be a big
Do tell.
whiner. It's just the lines. I just think there's got to be. I don't want to have to pay $200. Kate, you guys gave me a firm instructions on how to do it better. Show up earlier. Go to the back. Okay, so tell me, what's the best way to handle the lines?
You just have to you got to start earlier,
Right.
and then go to the back and then work your way forward, and then you just know at the end you're going to be standing in a long line.
Yep.
Because that way you've knocked out like how many mazes are? Let's say there's 7 mazes.
Mm-hmm.
If you go early, you can probably get 4 of them done within the first hour or 2, and then you get all that extra time to finish the rest of them. Otherwise, it's impossible
It is.
almost to get them all done in time. Which that's been one of my complaints about.
The tram
that part.
closed early, so that was
Yes.
part of the reason why we kind of, because it's like 11:45, it's done. So we're like, let's just knock that out, and then we got confused and accidentally. We would have done Titans of Terror later and came back and done that, but we accidentally got in line for that. thinking it was the tram.
Right.
Got
So
it.
the lines is my main complaint. Go
Line organization can be a little tricky too, of figuring out where to go in line.
That
'cause-
was kind of rough.
Yeah,
Like in
that's
the
what
back
happened,
part
like,
where they
yeah,
have
there's
all
like 4 of
kinds
them, and you're
them.
like, wait, where do I go? Because sometimes if the entrance is here, but the line starts back here,
Right.
so that.
Although that was my favorite part. I love being back inside the
Oh,
back
yeah.
lot with these
It's
like
amazing.
4-story building back lot all around you, and it's pretty
Love
amazing.
it.
Like I love Halloween Horror Nights Orlando. I absolutely love it. But this is one thing they don't have is that giant
You're on
back
a
lot.
back lot.
Yeah, and it's the Titans of Terror tram is something they don't have as well. One of my complaints was the Saw maze. Maybe I'm not a fan of the Saw films. The first one, like Luke, you keep arguing with me. Like that's it.
I enjoyed the first one, even kind of the second one I did, but
Nah.
I've watched almost all of them.
Sorry,
I've
you're
liked them mostly.
I've liked all of them. I
Yeah.
just got tired of this maze, which was basically you walk through, we're pulling guts out of people, no one's jumping at you. Is anybody jumping at you? Maybe that jigsaw
I
guy.
don't, it did feel like you're going through like a torture museum, basically.
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
And it was like,
Like
oh,
Hollywood or
I
something.
felt like they wasted space on that one. So, and I was upset I didn't get to go into Blumhouse. Is it Blumhouse?
You know, I enjoyed it.
I wanted to see. No, I wanted to see
yeah.
that one, and I missed Insidious.
Because I was
What
curious.
was in Blumhouse? Was it like?
It starts with The Purge.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the new movie Happy Death Day. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I wanted to
Yeah.
see.
And then
Oh,
it goes
cool.
into. Oh wait, no. Okay, I can't remember if that's second or third, and then the other one is Sinister.
Okay,
Interesting.
cool.
Okay.
I don't like demon movies, so
I was kinda
both
hoping there would be a
Insidious,
Get Out thing with like someone twirling a teacup in there or something. Like
both Insidious and Sinister were like not really fun for me because I just don't like demon.
But the maze was pretty good.
You don't
Yeah,
like
it was pretty good.
demons? You don't like demons?
I'm a little over those plot lines. I recently
But-
watched the 2 Conjuring movies and Annabelle, and I'm like, it's just so overused.
Conjuring was creepy. Yeah. What about? But Insidious had
I
its own
don't
house.
dislike the films. I just like the demon possession thing was.
I think they're overdoing it.
Yeah,
these days.
Insidious had its own maze again. Like the
Cool.
first maze I ever went through at Horror Nights was Insidious 2 years ago. So it was I was literally just
a good one.
like this the whole time, just because like I said yeah. So and they do the like the thread hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh, that
hits
drives
you.
me crazy.
Yeah. So but I did find that a lot of the mazes seemed a lot darker this year, so it was a lot harder to see. And that's hasn't normally been. I don't remember them being as dark in the past couple of years. So I was kind of like, I can't see anything. So that's where I would literally like if there was like a 3-foot gap where there was nobody, where it was just pitch black, and you would see the curtain. I would like look through the curtain and then just jump
Yep.
because I was like, there could be someone here and I can't see
You
him.
know what? They were not so like. Let me get to the microphone. They were not so bad about like having 20 people go through every half a second. Like they were allowing you to like have some breathing room and walk through and enjoy it. I do think
Maybe that's why the lines were slow. No, I don't know.
people like him, like we would go through and then we'd
I
get done.
linger.
He would linger for like I don't know a minute. We're like waiting. Like where's Luke at? Did
just
he?
at the beginning, just so
Just enjoying the production design
Yeah.
and the atmosphere of it.
that and wanting a fresh scare.
So would you suggest?
it
so
does
would you
suck.
suggest people go to Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a big
I missed
thumbs up for me.
Halloween. That's still like I love that.
I missed
one.
that the Halloween
There's
house
nothing
is
that
not
like
there.
really stuck out as like like the Halloween one just felt so good. But yeah, a lot of fun. You definitely got to do it. And
I
do
also
as much as you can, more than we did.
Also, the scare zone on the back lot was also a highlight because I thought it was really cool. It was like the
Oh, it was
demonic
crazy.
one. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool what they did with
She
it.
hates the demons and it scared the crap out of her. No,
Well,
they.
we
the-
went through it when no one else was there.
But the makeup back there was
Mm.
pretty amazing. The demons that they had done with the giant horns and everything, they
Like,
did a great job on that.
It was literally me and my friend, and no one else was in the scare
Oh,
zone.
Nice.
gosh. Oh, good.
So if you go, if you guys are going to go to Halloween Horror Nights, I suggest you start going early. It's going to get
Yeah.
super crowded the closer you get to Halloween. But you know what?
And you went on Friday.
You know
no
what?
offense.
I'm going to say something. It's not going to get any more crowded than when we went. It was so
Thursday
loud.
or
Thursday.
Sunday's
I was
usually
just gonna say
better.
Thursday or Sundays.
Thursday, Sundays.
Yeah.
Do they go all week? Like that last week of Halloween?
The last week, I believe that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And do they do
Then
the November
closed
1st
Monday,
and 2nd?
Closed Monday, and then they have it Halloween Day.
Right, but they
and
go
then
into
they
November.
work. Yeah, that's the first weekend of November.
If they go through
I think
Friday.
it's only Friday, Saturday. I don't think
Got
they have
it.
it Sunday.
I think they
that
go through the 4th. I think.
Yeah, it's either the 4th or the 5th. I don't know what day
So
it
go to it. We highly recommend. All right, Katie, could you? I keep on saying we have two K's in the room tonight.
Kari and Katie.
Kari and Anthony this week. We're going to jump into Trick or Treat as we finish off the podcast tonight.
Yeah.
Trick or Treat, which is a great movie. Kari, you guys did, what was it you did this past Friday? You and Anthony.
We did a live watch of Trick or Treat on the Popcorn Talk channel, and I also did it on my Periscope too.
It was kind of fun. I was watching parts. I was homesick. I've still been coughing a little bit tonight. But it was kind of fun to watch you guys watch that, and it got me excited about talking about the film tonight. So can you give us like a little rundown of the film?
So if you guys have never heard of Trick or Treat, it's this really great kind of cult classic at this point film. It didn't really get a huge theatrical kind of release. It was more like an indie film thing, and you generally find it by word of mouth. I screened it at a Halloween party myself, and it is an anthology, which anthologies are awesome, personally, I think. And they tie all the different stories together really well. And it's just kind of mainly all these kind of Halloween traditions, and some of them kind of spin it on your head in a really good way. And there's this kind of one character named Sam, who's this little child thing. It's that rounded head with like the scarecrow.
And if you're watching, this is Sam. Well, you'll see Sam on the screen in a
I
second.
think he's really cute.
That is Sam.
And it's played, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name, but it's played by the kid who's the son in Man in the High Castle of the Nazis. So I was like, oh, it's that guy. So he was much smaller at this point. But this character, which you don't get a whole lot of backstory on what or
I
who
thought I was
Sam
a
is.
kid by the movements. Like it moved very
It is-
childlike.
He was a kid when they
Yeah.
filmed it. And now he's like early teen, I think, on Man in the High Castle. But anyway, that thing is in all the different anthologies and is kind of watching and does some menacing things. So don't disrespect Halloween traditions is kind of the main plot.
Yeah, that's what it is. Don't
Creepier Rod Serling as a baby with a burlap sack.
super creepy.
And killer
And
lollipops.
killer lollipops.
And Sam is named after, if I'm not
Get
mistaken, I always say it's spelled Samhain. It's Samhain or some like.
In the description, I just thought it was SAM.
I know, but like
But
like I think he's named after Samhain, like
maybe.
what Halloween was originally called.
yeah, no, they do say that in one of the shorts. There's a group of young kids, and they're talking about an old town legend. And a girl who's kind of like awkward and nerdy, she tells one of the other kids like, yes, this is the original thing of Halloween. This is the original tradition of it. So it's just so good. It's shot well. The stories are great. There's actually a lot of comedy in it and some dark comedy. A lot of cameos.
Mr.
Especially when he's digging and all this stuff keeps up. Oh, wow.
Yes.
I think the movie is crazy funny. It kind of
It
reminds me
has
of
a lot of humor,
I can
actually.
tell, like it's like your films seem to be in the same.
Oh, nice.
Like you know, that kind of
Oh,
warped.
thank you.
I call it warped humor.
Yeah,
good,
there's some
irreverent,
dark,
warped humor.
because there are parts of it that are just awkwardly funny, and it's good, or just so bizarre that it's funny.
Like you're trying to bury a dead body and it won't stay down. You just have to keep
Yes.
jabbing and cutting it to pieces until it stops wriggling.
And we actually watched it for research because we're writing a horror movie.
Oh, that just disappointed
It's a
me.
really
yeah.
good one, though.
It's what I first heard about it a couple years ago at Comic-Con, and then I heard about it again at one of the horror conventions in town, and it was this cool movie that nobody had seen that everybody was wanting to see. But
I have a signed poster.
Do you really?
What?
Who signed it?
Where is it?
A friend
Sam?
went to another screening of it. I need to double check. I'll tweet you guys
Okay.
a photo. They went to the special screening, and then they're like, I don't want it. And then you're like, you want? I'm like, yes. So we have.
It's kind of crazy. It started building this fan base,
Yeah.
and nobody had seen it just because it was like the mythology of Trick or Treat. As it nobody could see it, couldn't find. But everybody talked about everyone who saw it. It was making its way around film festivals, and I saw it at Comic-Con in 2009, I think.
Nice.
And it was amazing. I just was like, this. I could not understand why this movie didn't find a wide distribution. I think it's a. Is it a Warner Brothers? Jake, is it a Warner Brothers? film? I do not think it is.
I'll have to get back to that.
I'm like, hold on. No, I was like, I'm trying to. We were just watching. I'm like, who was the, like it said the beginning, and I'm like, I forget. Even the beginning has a kind of good comic booky feel when they start. There's like images that
Warner
like that's
Brothers. It's Warner Brothers.
It is
Shut
Warner
up.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Nice. Like as they're introducing the plot line, and actually, if you watch closely, it gives you little bits of hidden gems at the beginning with the comic book parts, kind
I
of
know.
hinting
Yeah.
at stuff later.
There's actually a series of comic books that has since been released, telling some of these stories. Super graphic, super
So
gory.
good. It's very rated R. There's tons of gore in it. There's very little nudity. There's only like one. Oh, I was like titties once or twice.
There's 2 boobs.
There's 2. There's one on the DVD, and then there's one on this other group scene, and then this one I noticed because then you're like,
Yeah.
from doing acting stuff, I like how one of the girls, she's like this. So she specifically is like, she's topless, but she's not showing more. And I'm like, because she's like, yeah, I'll be naked-ish.
Naked.
And that's that's it.
I'll be naked adjacent.
There's swearing, and then, but mainly the R is for blood and gore.
And there's a lot of that.
Yes,
But,
a lot.
But here's what's cool. Here's what I loved about it. It was billed as an anthology film, which is cool.
I love horror anthologies.
I loved horror, but this was an upper level. This was done even better because each of the anthologies tied together. This
So
one,
well.
and all of them were kind of happening
Oh.
at the same time.
Yes, yes and no. That would be one
Okay.
thing I would suggest for people watching it is some of these stories, you'll kind of be a little confused on the timeline, but it will make sense as it keeps going because one of them you'll think they're simultaneous, but it will actually say earlier, later, or it will be like, oh yes, that's where so-and-so was and that's where it went, because I had some people be like, wait a minute, I'm like, just stick with it, it's fine.
Like one of my favorites, and I didn't know. I was reading about. I won't give anything away, but there's a scene when some kids are trick or treating, and this funny drunk lady dressed up comes to the door. You'll see her in that big scene you were talking about. That features the nudity with the hot dog that was dressed up behind her in the house.
Oh, I don't think I even noticed that.
I didn't.
Right? About what?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good catch.
Yeah.
Right
Good.
there.
Wait. By the way,
Voice of God.
Voice of God. Hey, God. Or Anthony. Well, you saw it with Kari this past week. What did you think?
Oh yeah, it was great. I had seen it previous to that, to this viewing, but
Been a while though. He
yeah,
forgot so
I
much.
forgot a lot
So
of
fun.
things, so I was like still getting it while I was watching it. It still holds up really well, and I can see why it's a cult classic, and it's definitely. It's become one of my favorites to watch around this time.
I loved
too.
it. And it has a sequel that is in preparation. We don't know when that's going to come out. Probably be another one of those things that never get released. But no, the sequel will get released, I'm sure. But what's cool, the director was talking about Sam, the little boy that we saw earlier. And you were talking about how we don't know very much about his past. They didn't say.
Not so much, no.
And he says we're not really going to know very much about his past, except
okay not
that
knowing,
he has
though.
existed for quite some time.
You kind of know that because there's a part in it where these kids are talking about a town legend that was like 20 years ago or something, and Sam's there. So he's at least been around that while and is the same size.
And let me tell you some of the legends. This is okay. We're gonna have to wrap here soon, but some of the legends that get you into trouble, and I won't tell you how you get into trouble. Like one of the legends is, do not blow your candle out in your pumpkin before Halloween is over. If you do, very, very bad things will
Yes.
happen to you.
Don't destroy pumpkins.
Do not destroy. That's the main legend of the
That's
night.
rude too. Like breaking someone's doing it to someone else's yard. I'm like, that's not even your own home.
I know.
Yeah, they worked hard on that.
Let me just tell you, there were repercussions for the big doofus that was, and I was not at all upset about that.
No.
I was so tormented, like, yeah.
Coming from someone who once tripped a child.
Nah.
I was at an attraction one time, and Universal Studios, and this kid kept running around and around and around, and his mother would not make him stop. So
So Jim, being the great guy he is,
was
I'll
like-
just.
I just stretched, put my foot out, just so that kid could trip and fall down and cry, and I was so happy.
High five.
He's Robert Downey in
Yeah.
Due Date.
You would not have had to do that if you were at the Queen Mary Haunted.
They
Yes,
throw
not
them
many
over.
kids.
That's right, yes.
But what's another part that you really loved in this movie?
There's a kind of bait and switch that happens that I like. I can't tell you because that gives it away.
that
But
I love.
was great. And again, how characters interact in their callbacks. Yeah, just overall, it's highly recommended. It's really good. Perfect Halloween type of movie.
And
What happened to the kid all by himself? But he's
Oh, that was-
kind of crazy.
that was kind of the sad part, without giving
The
away.
son.
The son,
Yes, we did kind of wonder about that, but
part 2
Yeah,
sequel.
Part
I
2,
bet you comes
he'll
out.
be back.
Yeah. we don't know
I
about
thought he was
mom.
the pumpkin kid at first.
I
No.
did too. I
was
thought
like,
that.
this
It,
guy's gonna be him,
there
but
could
it's
be a
not,
mom
this weird
around that we
face.
don't know about.
no, she's dead.
Did they say no?
They
more?
said that she was dead. Yeah.
Okay.
I bet you she's buried in that backyard though. I don't want to give anything away.
That's
but
what I was thinking too.
wouldn't that be cool? Like, what if she came back though? Like, I don't know.
The dad's back.
Oh,
as
all I
well.
would say is this:
Yeah.
notice how people are dressed. It matters.
Yep.
Their costumes.
Yep.
Notice what's going on behind people, beside people.
Because some people
Everything-
just bump into each other, and that's the connection to the
Yeah.
other storyline. You're like, oh wait, it's the people from the other one.
It's like watching Lost,
Wait,
but better. And we do have to wrap.
No, wait, real quick. I went to Disneyland and California Adventure, and they have Halloween stuff, and it's awesome. I did like it. I think California Adventure has way better decorations going on.
Yes.
I did not get to see the parades because I was late, but I missed them. I didn't do that.
First
but they
year
do have
California's been open for it,
Was that
though.
you? What'd you say?
It's the first year California Adventure's been open for the Halloween
It's
thing.
the first time they've ever been decorated for Halloween. Did you see
love
Oogie
the
Boogie?
decorations.
Oogie Boogie
Yes,
at the entrance?
right at the entrance. Guardians of the Galaxy has a small dance show to the side of it, which was really fun. And yeah, just so many great pumpkin decorations.
The Monster Mash.
Ignore him.
I'm
Ignore
like-
him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I think
thought they should dance.
not to plug them, but I like that. I think it
plug
was
'em.
BuzzFeed did a list of like things that you could do at California Adventure, and most of them I was like yes, 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 yes. But some of them I hadn't done yet. But great food things, and I do recommend it if you're able to go.
Also, you were talking about the Guardians attraction. It's called Monsters After Dark. After Dark, and right now they have a special Halloween version of the Guardians
Yes,
of
I
the
did hear
Galaxy
about that.
attraction.
Oh, cool.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And like if you go into the Cars Land, everything's been super Halloween
so
up,
fun.
but in Cars style. So
Yes.
which is so great. All right, is there anything else we have to cover this week? We love the movie Trick or Treat. If you have not had a chance to view it, you can download it right now on Amazon. That's where I got it. Jake?
No.
Oh, you were
Yeah.
pointing.
I was pointing like, do
He's
it.
like, yes.
All right.
Yes.
We thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week to the Scare Guys show. We wish we had a whole lot more time because we're getting so excited. We're getting so close to Halloween. We have some shows coming up. Subscribe here to the Scare Guy, and we hope to be bringing you the scariest news of the week. We had a lot of stuff we wanted to get to tonight. A knife came flying at me. We were not able to get to the Scare Gym video tonight. Go to our website. You can find that. Also, we will be listing the top horror attractions in the country, which we will be talking about next time. All right, so you can find me at thescareguy.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at ConGuyJim. Where can we find everybody else?
Yes, you guys can find me online at Kari D Lane on Twitter and Instagram. That's KARIDLANE.
I'm on Instagram and Twitter at KT_Christine with a C. And then my cosplay account is Katie's_fairytale.
I'm on Twitter at JT Hummus. You can find me in person at the Warner lot. Come down and take a tour. It'll be a lot of fun.
Transition. And I'm Cheeseman on the couch, also known as Luke Cheeseman. You can find me on Twitter at ConGuyLuke and on thescareguy.com. And please, Halloween Horror Nights, somehow figure out a way to make a Jaws Halloween Horror Nights
Yes.
house. I don't know how you do it. You can feel underwater, shark heads popping out, Quint with a knife, craziness. It can be done. I believe in you, Universal.
And join us October 13th at the Vista Theater as we see on Friday the 13th. It's a theater where Scream Part 2 was filmed at the very beginning.
Never Alone. It's a
Never
line
Alone.
from Scream.
Yes, all right, guys.
I don't
Thank
know
you
if
so
you
much,
can
all
see
you
it.
horror
There it is.
freaks. We will see you guys next time.
See ya.
Stay spooky.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.